out of context are not offensive to anyone in particular, unless you take it that way and proactively force it to be offensive to you for something else. Like, he wasn't speaking directly to you. He was saying it broadly to someone else or of someone else, not you. So Abu Bakr could definitely be taking offense to it, is my point. Everyone else that hears it could be taking like a second party offense to it, but it's not like offensive directly to you. But
right, no. What it is that Abu Bakr took offense to it, which again, like you said, is perfectly fine, but everybody else is trying to weaponize it. That's all it is. That's the difference. You have Abu Bakr getting offended, and you have everybody else trying to weaponize it, and that's where we're at right now. Well, that's what we were anyway. We're already past that at that point.
It could be. So my point being is, I feel like there's a lot of people that are not getting fake outrage, but are getting more upset over this than really is necessary.
Oh no, it's
especially
fake.
When you combine it with a very important second part of this.
No, it's fake. It's 100% fake. You want to know how I know it's fake? Is because the only reason why people are truly angry over this is because it was a black man involved. I'm just being honest with you. That's just what it is. You can try to say that's not what it is all you want, but 99% of the people I have seen talking about this never once complained about any other joke made about any other race until it became about black people. Then that's what it was, and then people want to pretend like, oh my God, my world is ending. My world is ended because someone made fun of black people. Oh my God, no. Well, where were you for all the other jokes? You never cared. You never cared. You want to know why? Because the people who are getting offended are either trying to weaponize it. Well, I should say the ones who are trying to weaponize it are mostly white liberals trying to get me canceled because they don't like me and failed. That's fine. But the black people that are getting offended by it, they only got offended by it because they feel like it was a personal attack against them. They got offended for someone else on their behalf. Which, you know what? That's fine. You want to do that? That's okay. But don't try to pretend like you're so moral and high. And I'm not saying Mike Hollow is doing that. I'm saying in general, the conversation that's happening right now, people are trying to pretend like they're so morally superior. Oh my God, how could you say that? Meanwhile, I know most of these people say these jokes about other races all the time, and also black people in private DMs, but then they want to pretend like, oh no, we can't do that. You know, the amazing argument to me is that people are saying, well, it's locker room talk, right? So keep that private. Don't put that publicly. Oh, so you're allowed to be privately racist, but as long as it's not publicly racist and people don't find out, then it's okay. Is that what you're saying? So nothing's wrong with the fucking term that's being said. All that's wrong is that people found out about it. So is something wrong with the term? Is something wrong with the term, or is this something about it being public? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Which is, no one says a goddamn thing about Ryan and the stupid shit he always says about every race, every nationality, and every goddamn thing.
Oh, I didn't realize he was going to say it too.
But for some reason, this was the thing. And it's like, what about everything else? Does nobody else care about all the other protected classes of LGBTQ plus YAZW?
Nope.
How many times?
No. If you do make fun of LGBTQ community, mainly trans people, you will get a strike or you will get a warning, because I did videos on Chris Tyson and I got a warning just for speaking about what was happening. I didn't even make fun of him. You know, I made fun of him once in a while, but I didn't even get a warning for, like, you know, jokes or anything like that. I got a warning for simply talking about it. Right. So the trans thing and black people are the two things you apparently can't say anything about. Everybody else, you're allowed to fucking crucify, but you can't crucify those two.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Smash. How many times have I said the term tranny demon? How many? No one criticizes me or gets on.
I went through Hypnotic's streams. I was speaking to Hypnotic earlier, and I went through his streams. I didn't catch any of these jokes. I'm not saying that you didn't make them or they haven't happened, but what I'm trying to understand now is that Ryan's just said to me that he doesn't take any of this seriously. It's all a joke. So are you saying that all of the videos that you upload, all the commentary that you do on this whole topic, whether it be
really quick, that's literally impossible. I'm sorry, I was eating my food while the video was playing. That's literally impossible. Go on every Saturday Night Hypnosis, we're making fun of everything. That is fucking impossible. I'm sorry, it just is.
Politics or what's going on in games. Mm-hmm. You're just having a laugh.
I speak my mind on topics and people that I enjoy, whether it's in terms of my thoughts, suggestion videos, Rising Stars, Reality Based Presents videos, as well as Reality Based Presents videos with me on other shows. All I'm doing is giving my opinion, and I live.
Wow, I'm actually a little offended right now because Toasty with the Mosey said Mexican Hypnotic is eating rice and beans. You know what? Fuck you, man, because that's literally what I'm eating, all right? Right? Just let me rock. Let me rock, all right?
In a country just like you, Mike, where speaking your mind can be a crime, and to that I say, fuck it. Speak your mind and stand by reality-based.
And with
You
that,
can speak your mind, but you have to understand that with free speech, people can retaliate against you. And nobody's, I've
By
not
all
called for your
means.
cancellation. I don't know if anyone has called for your cancellation. I certainly didn't. But as far as I could see, you guys are talking about a topic that gamers find quite serious. But the minute that people call you up on it, now it's a joke. So all of the commentary that you do on your channel should be considered a joke, basically satirical.
well, I mean, that's.
I'm not talking about you, Smash. I'm talking directly to Ryan. I'm trying to understand.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I've platformed hundreds of content creators as rising stars.
I think that's ridiculous to try to utilize something that was made as a joke to try to say, well, so what does that mean for the rest of your content? Is the rest of your content a joke? It's like, no, bro, there are different conversations that are happening at any given time. And it doesn't mean that everything is a joke, and it doesn't mean that nothing's a joke. It depends on the context, and it depends on what we're talking about. You know what I mean? You're allowed to make jokes in between a serious conversation. Just because you're talking about something serious doesn't mean you got to stay serious the entire time. That almost seems kind of like, I don't even know how to even explain it. It's like, that's not entertaining. You guys got to realize, as a streamer, you have to be entertaining. Even though you're talking about something serious, a joke every now and then is fine. And if it's told by someone like Ryan Roger Athe, who makes terrible fucking jokes that fall flat 90% of the time, it doesn't mean he's not allowed to say it because it was bad. Like, you're allowed to make jokes and have a good time as you're talking about something serious. And I don't think it's super abnormal to make racial jokes, right? In the terms of Ryan Roger Athe making a racial joke, I don't think it's abnormal to bring that into a conversation where a man who we're reacting to for the 3 minutes out of the 5 minutes of his video was talking about his race the entire time. I don't think that's odd. I don't think that's so out of the blue. Because people on Twitter were trying to be like, oh, he's just trying to talk about his game. No, he's not. No, he's not. Out of the 5 minutes, he spent a lot of it talking about race and his race. So he wasn't just talking about his game. And if you played the game, which I know a lot of this modern audience losers didn't play the game, right? The people on Twitter didn't play the game. If they played the game, they would realize that a spear is one of the main weapons in the game. I mean, the irony is insane.
Is that a joke? No. I've had hundreds of... I've platformed hundreds of fine folks and fellow creators as rising stars. That's how I kicked off my creator journey, as someone who would, analyze content creators, promote what they have to offer, and encourage others to check out their channels. I don't consider that to be a joke. In regards to the situation in question that caused this controversy, I said that because I found it funny personally. No one else did on that panel, just so we're clear. And another reason behind it was because when I first saw the term Sergeant, damn, I can never pronounce the damn name. That's why I said the term that I said, because I couldn't really.
You know what's ironic? A lot of the black creators that I've been seeing criticizing Ryan about being racist are using terms against him like unseasoned, right? Like they're calling Ryan unseasoned. They're like, oh, you unseasoned, like son of a bitch, whatever. Like, you realize unseasoned is also a term against white people that people of color tend to use. It's in the same kind of boat. So, like, what are we doing? Is it rules for thee and not for me, or like what are we doing?
Say the original term without having a blooper fest, which is a Joe Biden-esque, oh, I can't say the right word, which sometimes I do.
Like, Brian doesn't give a fuck about being called unseasoned, but my point is, some people will get offended at that. So why would you throw out a term like that if we are trying to avoid throwing out racist terms? because quite simply, you don't want to just talk about the truth. The truth is he made a term about a black person. People got mad. If a black person used that same exact term against another black person, nobody would get angry.
Because none of this is scripted. None of this is fake or synthetic. I speak my mind. And if you enjoy what I have to say, absolutely fine.
Well,
if you don't, okay, I'll keep on going and I'll keep on growing.
Let me ask you a question then, Ryan. If you were talking to Abu Bakr Salim in person, right? And you
just really quick, before Mike Hollow goes into this whole nonsense of in person, I don't know what he's about to say, so I don't want to necessarily prejudge. But I'm telling you right now, that whole in-person conversation thing, that whole in-person argument, that straw man argument, would you say this in person? That shit does not have any relevance to this whatsoever. Absolutely zero relevance. You mean to tell me that if the man shows up in person to me, I'm supposed to not be able to criticize him or crack jokes or make fun of him? Why? Because he's going to swing on me? He's going to swing on me? That's where we're at right now? So you swinging on me suddenly makes what Ryan, or you swinging on Ryan suddenly makes what Ryan says any less true or not true, or any less offensive or not offensive? Is that what it is? Like, what does you swinging on Ryan have to do with what he's saying? Absolutely nothing. It's nothing. It's coming from a place of like, oh, I'm much tougher than you. Say it to my... Nobody cares about that shit, bro. It's the internet. Nobody cares. Like I said, I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong or whatever, because I'm gonna let him speak. He's got to get his word out, and that's fine. But that is a straw man argument through and through.
Maybe, let's say you cut him up, and then you turn around, you stand there right next to him, and you say, "I'm gonna let this darkie finish." Would you say that to him in person? Be honest.
I've said the term.
By the way, Ryan has called me brownie multiple times, and I never got offended. All right, I'm done.
Publicly and privately, everything I have said publicly, I have said privately.
To his face.
Yes, to his face.
You
Yes,
would talk to another. You would talk to another man like that, another black man. You'd say, "I'll let you finish, darkie." Are you being serious?
Yes, I am being serious, and I stand by what I say.
To be honest with you, I'll be completely real. I don't think you would do that. You stand in another man's face. I mean, the first thing is that we've seen Sweet.
Again, that doesn't invalidate what he's saying. It doesn't invalidate. What does the threat of physicality have to do with what Ryan Roger Athe is saying? Whether it's the joke or whether it's about what we were talking about his game or about him as a person and how it looks like he's racially grifting, what does it have to do with the conversation? It doesn't have to do with anything. Zero. Physicality has nothing to do with it. You just look weak when you bring up threats like that. When you say, oh, you'll never say something like that to my face, it's because people can't counter the argument, so they have to threaten with physicality.